Don't worry, I don't think they can hear us. Why have you here? Let me tell you about our Patreon. I think they left. Anyways, if you go to patreon.com/evacstation, you can help us with better microphones, soundproofing our recording rooms, and better audio software to give you a crispier, juicier sound for less than... Shit, hang on. For less than the cost of earbuds you're listening with, you can support our show. Again, that's patreon.com/evacstation. On with the show.
You hear the beating of your heart, you know the screaming's gonna start. Here comes the really scary part, 'cause it's terror time again. They've got you running through the night. It's terror time again. Oh, you just might die of fright. It's a terrifying time.
The clock has struck midnight, and you know what that means. It's terror time again, and we'll be running this podcast all through the night from a terrifying sight. We are Ryan Metters.
Yo.
I got Troy Stewart with us here guesting this week.
Yo, yo, yo.
And I am Aaron J. Waseska, and as always, the theme for the Halloween special is Terror Time from, well, Scooby-Doo. So I like that jam. It's really good. So yeah, welcome Troy back to the show, and on our Halloween special, no less. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thank you guys for having me back. It's a wonderful show to be a part of.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you back, man. It's been a good time. So this week, we're going to be talking about 2018's surprise horror movie hit, A Quiet Place, which we got a lot of stuff to talk about. This got a lot of fun stuff here. Before we get to that, though, instead of doing a What You Watching segment, we've been doing a specific question that kind of ties into the movie a little bit. And this one is, how do you guys see the end of human society, and do you think you'll survive?
I know I'm dead. I am a dead man. I am.
Ryan, you've been working out, though. You're tough now.
Yeah, I've been working out, but the thing is that there's so much of my just general life that's built on societal norms. If I tried to go off the grid or some shit, I would be dead. I have no survival skills. I am self-aware enough to know that. I would do my damnedest. I am, yeah. I would do my damnedest to survive, but I could see myself being one of the early folks who sacrifice themselves so that other people can go and live. I'm the guy that jumps at the zombie to let you guys escape. That's probably.
You're the one. You're gonna scream so we can walk away.
Yeah. That's. I'm the John Krasinski of this shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it. I'd probably try to find a group to join, who know how to make it. Because if I don't find a group and I'm solo dolo, it's not gonna be a long movie scene for my life.
Yeah,
So I'm in the same boat. I have no survival skills. However, I like to think I can be pretty stealthy. So depending on what the actual threat is, I could probably solo it for a little while. But I mean, I'd run out of food pretty damn quick. So I don't know. I think the lack of internet and being able to sleep without having to look over my shoulder would be a complete mind fuck for me.
Yeah,
so
that would be horrible. I'm just imagining you walking through the woods trying to sneak by tree. That's a funny thought.
They didn't see me. I think I'm good. Then I step on a twig and all of a sudden the monster gets me.
Fuck.
Shit.
Well, there I go. Actually, that brings me to an interesting question I'm going to have later in the film, or later in the podcast, about this movie in particular, so I'm going to hold on to that for now, but just you wait, it'll be great. This week is Quiet Place, and I thought before we get to the accolades and important notes, let's get some initial thoughts. What do you guys think of the film that you saw?
Well written. I would never imagine a film that doesn't have a script where a lot of words being said, for it to keep me interested, for me not to, get bored and want to look at my phone from jump out the gate, where the kid gets snatched up right away. I mean, it grabs your attention and keeps you, let you know this isn't a fucking game. This is real. People are dying right away.
Absolutely.
You don't even get to know them.
Yeah, that's real. That's, oh my god.
Well, I mean, to add... Oh, go ahead.
I'm just realizing that the entire cast, is this family of 5, and the movie starts out with the youngest of them dying. Yeah, so it definitely sets the stakes of this shit real high from jump. Yeah. So yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from there.
To add to that though, you were saying that you have to pay attention to this movie, and it's no joke. Almost every movie you watch, you could just listen to. You could hear it. You can hear what's going on and understand what's happening. Yeah. You cannot do that here. And I think that's what this movie is really magnificent for, is that it's calling your attention by being absolutely silent, which is unheard of. And I know that's a lot of puns all at once, but it's not intentional by any means. But no, think about it though. If you're watching TV, what grabs your attention the most? And in most people's situations, it's going to be the loud-ass commercial playing at super high volume compared to your TV show to sell you something. Yeah. This movie has nothing like that. It's just a quiet, subtle affair the whole way through, and it does a good job keeping your attention just doing that.
Well, I definitely agree with you there, but I wouldn't argue that it's I wouldn't argue that it's by itself a super a big innovation. I mean,
no, I'm not saying that, but
I think the use of silence to build suspense in horror movies is definitely like a well-regulated thing. But I think this is the first movie that really tries to capitalize on that. And it like when you walk into the movie and you know it's a horror film and you know it's centered around things that like react on like the barest sound, it starts you from like the first minute with in this really deep, immersive, attention-grabbing setting. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's true.
So let me get into the important accolades and notes here for you, and then we'll jump right into a synopsis. Man, I'm going to talk a lot for a little bit here. Okay. Actually, Ryan, if you want to read the few facts I've got here in the middle, I'll highlight that for you real quick.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Okay. Here we go. Our Terror Time continues this week with A Quiet Place, released earlier this year in 2018. Directed and starring John Krasinski. You might remember him from The Office. This film went on to make $332 million, which was worldwide, and that's nearly 20 times more than what this film cost to make. I'm going to start putting that little statistic in all these horror movies, because horror movies are cheap and effective when they are successful. Mm-hmm. This ended up being one of the biggest box office and critical successes of this year. Along with John, the film's cast also includes his wife Emily Blunt, Melissa Simmons, Noah Jupe, Cade Woodward, and Leon Russum as the man in the woods.
That's right. Oh man, it was 6 people. Damn, I forgot.
You forgot about the one that just screamed for 5 minutes.
That just gave up.
Yeah, I forgot about it. Yeah.
While it's still not over yet, because the award season has not really started for some academies and whatnot, this film has been nominated for several awards and has already won 2. Ironically, for Best Sound Mixing and Best Sound Editing.
That's funny.
From the International Online Cinema Awards.
I absolutely believe that, because the sound in this movie is phenomenal. Like there's a little bit of it, but whatever is there is crisp, and the design for the monster's roar is insane.
Wow. Yes.
Man. All right, so I've got a few fast facts for you guys here. First and foremost, as Aaron's already mentioned, John Krasinski and Emily Blunt are married in both this film and in real life. As of the film's release, they have two daughters. There are actually real family photos of John and Emily's and their children used in the film. Another fun fact is that John Krasinski has actually been on the record saying that this movie is actually kind of a love letter to his kids, because of the portrayal and like what you would be willing to do as a parent to save your kids.
Wow.
He actually used that as the basis for creating this movie, which was one of the main things that really wanted me to see the movie personally. Now, also, fun fact as well, doors are never opened or closed throughout the entirety of the film, which in the setting makes a lot of sense because they have to be really, really cognizant of sound, and I love that they kept to that for the entirety of the movie.
And it's something you wouldn't notice without paying attention for that either.
Yeah, I didn't notice
that.
Right.
Take for granted.
It's something that you definitely take for granted, but it's also something that makes complete sense. It makes complete sense.
Yes.
So I love it. Let's see here. Fun fact that I didn't know is that this movie was actually shot in 36 days, which sounds insane.
Wow.
Like, that sounds nonsensical, like nonsensically fast. And the real fun fact that I didn't know and that I'm loving as I'm reading, John Krasinski actually played the monster in a motion capture suit for a couple of scenes in the film.
This was a very low budget movie. Very low
This
budget.
dude, oh my god, they killed it. I love it. This is John Krasinski's directorial debut, isn't it?
I believe so.
I know it's definitely his first horror movie, but I'm pretty sure it's also his directorial debut, which...
He may have directed an episode or two of The Office, but, I mean, for film-wise, I think this might be his first.
Yeah, well, in any case, this was a triumph, and I can't wait to see what else he does.
Absolutely. I think he knocked it out of the park here, and, I mean, he kept it under a tight budget, and look, it paid off so well.
Like the only film under your belt makes 20 times gets a 20-time return on investment? Get the fuck out of here. That dude could make any movie he wants at this point.
Oh, Ryan, wait till we get to Get Out.
Oh my god.
That is a mind-blowing thing. Wow.
So yeah, with that, I have a synopsis here for you boys.
All right, let's get it. Let's get it.
Here we go. Dystopia Scenario 13S1, when alien creatures arrive on Earth and they hunt us based on the noise we make. The world is now rendered silent as those who have remained learn to stay quiet to survive. Our story follows Jim Halpert and his family, whose names are really never mentioned in the film, but they're listed in the credits, so prepare for a little confusion. Jim is married to Evelyn, and they have 2 to 3 kids. We have one who dies in the first 15 minutes to establish the threat and risk of the children posed to their survival. There's a deaf girl who is a somewhat rebellious teenager that no one understands. And our third kid is a cowardly young boy who needs to grow up and sort of does by the end of the film. After an incident involving their youngest that we already mentioned, the Abbotts, as the credits call them, work to make a replacement child. They prepare their dwelling with all the soundproofing and warning systems they can set up. All the while, Jim is studying these creatures and doing everything he can to fight against them, but he cannot come up with an answer on how to beat them. Eventually, he takes his cowardly child out with him on a gathering mission, hoping to level him up so that if in the unlikely event he dies, the cowardly child can become the man of the house.
It's got a power level him, man.
Got a power level that. While Jim and Scaredy Cat are away, the angsty deaf girl storms off in a huff, mad that Jim didn't take her when she's clearly more capable of helping him. She goes to the grave of the boy who died at the beginning of the film because she feels guilty for letting it go down that way in the first place. Meanwhile, back on the ranch, Evelyn's baby has decided now is the time to show up when everyone else is away. Between this and stepping on a loose nail, Evelyn's having a hard time not making any noises at all, which allows us to see the first major creature up close and personal. The warning lights go on, and all she can do is avoid the creatures until someone is there to save her. Jim and Boy return home to see that Evelyn is in trouble. Boy goes to turn on the distraction protocol, lighting up the sky with some bitchin' fireworks. Jim grabs his shotgun and finds a bloody Evelyn with a newborn baby in her arms. He gets them both down into his padded bunker just in time to get them safe from another one of the creatures. When she's secured, Jim goes out to find Boy and Teen, who have found each other and a way to top the silly silo. Teen believes Jim doesn't really love her because of the aforementioned guilt, and she tries to leave. Boy, I should really read this in the right way. Boy tells her to otherwise, but falls into the silo because conflict has to happen. The two are trapped in the silo as another Echo Beast, that's what I'm going to call him now, jumps in after them. This is when Teen's hearing aid starts to freak out. You see the Echo Beast's hypersonic hearing as a strange feedback issue. It has a strange feedback issue while the teen's hearing aid is on, causing it to lose its mind and run away by any means necessary. That includes running through the nearest wall. Jim finds the kids, and more Echo Beasts are on the way. They try to make it to the house, but stop at a truck along the way. As Jim mulls over getting a shovel or a gun or something, an Echo Beast lays him out. Boy makes a noise in panic, causing the Echo Beast to come for him next. Jim realizes there's only one way out of this mess that he sort of caused for them. He screams, calling the beast to him while his children very slowly get away. They return to Evelyn, and they are cornered by another Echo Beast. Teen's hearing aid goes off once again for like the 8th time, and she finally connects the dots. She slaps that bad boy against the microphone and plays that feedback over a loudspeaker. The Echo Beast's armor crumbles, and Evelyn shoots it good. More Echo Beasts rush towards the house as the film comes to an end. Evelyn cocks a gun, and the credits roll.
God damn. What a fucking movie.
It really was a really well-written, well-set-up movie. It was really beautiful.
It has a lot of good moments in there, and I have a few things I'm going to totally undercut it with, but, no, I think that despite my minor nitpicks, which I'm going to have a few, of course, I love it. It's probably one of my favorite films of this year. It may not be number one, because it's competing with Infinity War and Black Panther, but it's been a hell of a year, and this definitely takes the cake as one of the best ones out there.
Man, you just gotta hate those kids. Those damn bastard kids.
So I've heard a lot of criticism.
Am I the only person who is okay with the kids, man?
It's funny. I've heard a lot of criticism about the kids.
Kids are like, why we gotta be quiet? I don't like living this lifestyle. Like, go step outside and clap your hands. That's why. Step outside and clap.
Well, so Boy, I'm gonna call him Boy. It's just fun. So Boy actually seems very much like realistic. Like, he is freaked out.
Yeah.
He also knows how to be safe, but he's accident prone. I don't have anything against him. I think he, of all of them, is at least the most, like, sensible of them all.
Yeah.
The little kid, again, I can kind of understand it, but come on, guys. Why didn't you just pocket the battery so he couldn't take him? I mean, come on. I
agree with that.
And then Deaf Girl, she's a teenager. It's hard for me to sympathize with that.
She's a teenager.
Like you were ever
she's a teenager in a world that's being destroyed.
Like you were ever a teenager. I can't sympathize with that shit.
No, Ryan, I can sympathize. I can understand that I was a teenager. I couldn't sympathize with myself being a teenager. I hated myself as a teenager. I look back on it and I'm like, man, you made some stupid choices, boy.
Oh my God. I honestly, like, the kids have flaws, but it makes them relatable. Like all of the problems in the movie, they stem from just the humanity of these of this group, of this family. And it's really I think the best conflict in movies come from just relatable people being stuck in horrible situations. So it's like the fact that they're human is what's kind of causing them to trip up. And I think that makes for the best conflict. And that was plenty rife within this movie too. So I think it makes the conflict a lot more relatable and realistic.
So when you see pathetic humans.
So when you see the girl being pissed that her dad doesn't really trust her, or doesn't want to doesn't want to take her out and teach her how to do the shit, you can see where she's coming from, because she wants to be helpful, and at the same time she's also shouldering guilt for getting her younger brother killed. Where you look at it from the dad's perspective and says, girl, you can't hear shit, and I need to fix that before I take you out here, because you not being able to hear anything is really bad. You can see both of them. and the conflict that comes from that it makes for a really good movie in my opinion.
Yeah, there's a lot of those dad knows best films. Like, I think a good example is the Taken movies, where like the dad's like a pro like dad, and he's also like an expert in everything.
He is a pro dad.
No, well, and the thing is, it's fun, but there are so many movies nowadays that are doing that. And I was a little worried going into this one the first time I saw it, where I'm like, okay, is he going to be like overcompetent at everything, where like there's no flaw with what he does, and he's just going to be like the badass like super marine dad, where I just get bored of his character after the first like hour, or is there going to be something about him that works? And they develop a good relationship between him and the other characters enough where he doesn't feel like that one-dimensional super dad. He feels like an actual, genuine, like, struggling to get his family to stay alive dad. I like what they did with it.
He worked so hard to keep them protected, though. He did so much extra work, studying the monsters, setting stuff up, always trying to take 2 steps ahead of them. Like, it was like his whole life was dedicated to keeping them safe.
And
Absolutely.
You could tell, you could see the toll that took on his character. Like he was doing such amazing work in like the survival aspect, but you could see he had to spend some time just by himself, like kind of shuddering under the weight of all of that responsibility. And it distanced him from his kids, it distanced him a bit from his wife, and it made him a bit colder, like, and not able to really see what his kids were going through, to the point where boy had to explain, you understand your daughter blames herself for the fact that our brother died, right? You get that. You think you understand that she thinks you don't love her because this is happening? And he's like, oh shit, I didn't realize that. Oh god, I've been so focused with trying to save you all from the fucking apocalypse that I missed that. I'm sorry. And it's really good to see that too.
Alright, so I have a few discussion questions here for you. We're going to roll through real quick. You guys ready?
Yes.
Alright, number 1, I've already done. So number 2, where does the farmhouse get electricity from? Think about it. Because power plants probably aren't active anymore, due to the whole end of the world scenario. And wouldn't having a generator be so noisy that it would just cause the monsters to be there all the time? So I'm trying to figure out where the hell that power is coming from.
I think I got one of those wind turbines.
Maybe. Farms do get subsidies for that. I didn't see one, but they could have one somewhere that wasn't shown on the screen. Or on the scene.
The generator would be way too loud.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my guess would be that they do have a generator, but they have it in a soundproofed area.
I would love to have seen that just for confirmation, but I could believe that.
Like, I mean, the fact that they created an entire like underground bunker specifically for this baby was like, all right, insane. Like I can see that, because like the instant that I saw she was pregnant after the time skip, I'm like, holy fuck, guys, how are you gonna do this?
What?
There's no way to pull this off. That baby is just gonna make noise from every moment that it's awake. What are you doing here?
I'm actually going to skip ahead to that question then. Why do you think having a baby is the wisest idea, and do you think it was even planned?
Oh, absolutely.
Just imagine how weird sex is just completely quiet for 4 years.
Yeah.
Would just be the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah.
Just
like how?
No noise at all, no nothing, that would be so weird.
Not to mention, you know, if everything else is hyper quiet, you know that boy has heard his parents having sex. You absolutely know that happened. That boy is scarred
in a
from
quiet
life.
place. No one can hear you, fap. That'll be a tagline for this episode, I swear.
But no,
okay.
I don't think it was planned. I think it happened. I think it just happened.
Yep.
And in the midst of in the midst of them grieving for their child, like the time skip is like what, 3 years? I think
so.
They do it in days, so it's hard for me to keep track of that. But yeah, it was a couple of years.
It might have been like 2 or 3 years. But like, so like in the midst of that, it probably happened. There's no way to get an abortion in this day and age.
Oh right, you're not trying hard enough.
No, stop. I will hear nothing of that. Stop it. But
A good staircase is all you need.
Stop.
Oh my goodness.
But I think the decision to really try and make it work was made partially out of the grief for them losing their youngest.
Yeah, I can see that.
So like we joke that it's a replacement baby, but it kind of is. I think it kind of was a little bit, just a little.
Who was joking? I thought that was the case altogether.
Well, shit, we need 3 to make the set, so come on, let's get it.
3 to make the set.
Hey, honey, you know you've been practicing for a while, right? Let's hop at it again.
We need 3 to make the set. Come on.
Let's see. Next one I got here for you. How does the military not find out about the alien's weakness when they were able to discern that their insane hearing ability in the first place?
Military's a joke. I don't know.
I'll accept that answer.
Yeah.
They probably thought bullets and missiles could work, and when they found it didn't work, they were just like, "Fuck it, we tried."
I mean, let's be real here. This probably happened during the Trump era, so it could make sense.
Give up hope.
I could believe it. Let's see here. What do I got next here? Why don't they live by the river or other locations where they can mask their sounds? At least go there when Evelyn's like near her due date, for Christ's sake.
I would argue that the barn that they have, they either had it, like it was either theirs, like from Go, or they found it in their travels, and like it was the first like really defensible place that they could make a home, and there might just not have been a defensible place near the river, aside from one that they would have to like build by hand. So, unless we expect Jim Krasinski to actually just go ahead and one-man build a house real fast by the river that has everything, I think them settling up in a barn that already just about had everything is acceptable.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
That's fair. I'm trying to poke all these holes, and Ryan's just like deflecting all of them. I like it. Let's see what I got next. Let's see. Wouldn't people in a large city actually be safe thanks to all the noise pollution that occurs?
To wipe you out one by one.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that like the people in cities, like it's not necessarily.
I've seen the argument both ways, so I was curious where you guys are at on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think like I don't think it's that it's an overabundance of sound that makes them like that weakens them, but if there were a bunch of people making noise in one place, that would just be a bunch of people they can eat. And they would just go through that one by one by one by one.
Well, I think the argument was more in favor of the fact that you could use the various noises of the city, and all that to mask yourself more. Like, sure, big groups would be hard to hide in, but individuals could very easily make a city work for them for a good while.
And I think,
once power runs out and like the majority of people are dead, like that's the majority of the noise pollution in the city. It's other people. So as society and the city itself breaks down, there's not that much sound to hide in.
I think there's a lot of monsters that went to the cities because I mean in their little area they had like 3 different ones, 3 separate ones, and that was a very small area to have 3 separate monsters just patrolling all fucking day. So I think in a city, I mean it's probably just ridiculous amounts of them where throughout the occurrence of this they'll wipe out the people and there'll be less and less noise, and now you're stuck in this big city with doors and everything trying to get by.
Yeah, I
got you. Let's see, what do I got next here? Okay, here's one that I thought about during watching the film, and I want to know what you guys think. This is a callback to what I said earlier about sipping on a twig. How does one survive when humans make so many involuntary sounds? Sneezing, burping, coughing, farting, screaming in your nightmares. That's all part of your daily life. How does one survive with all that stuff you involuntarily do?
I think the cool part about this movie with the monsters where it wasn't like they were listening at all times, because I believe they dropped like a lantern or a lamp or something and nothing happened. So it's like only when they're in your area. So they were able to live their not normal life, but as close to normal, like play games and stuff like that, and make little noise because monsters weren't there. Which I thought was amazing that they kind of kept that separate, where it wasn't like, they're just listening all day long. It's like, they're just going around looking for food and killing. But I think you would be able to make it as long as the monster's not right there on you. Of course, sneezing and farting and screaming would happen. I mean, and if you scream at the wrong time, it's over. But I feel like more times than less they wouldn't be right there if you made little noises.
That's fair. Let's see. What was it? I feel like sneezing would definitely kill some people for sure.
Yes,
definitely.
Ryan, you don't know my dad, but Troy, you've met him.
Yeah.
My dad's got a very unique quirk where he will sneeze not once, not twice, not even 3 times. He will sneeze sometimes 4 or 5 times in a row without stopping.
Ooh.
I love my old man, but I think he's as good as dead.
Yeah, he wouldn't. He wouldn't make it too far in this.
Yeah, he gone. He gone, man. He gone.
Like I've seen him try. He can never get it below like 3. It's ridiculous.
That's funny. Your dad's amazing. That's funny.
Let's see what I got next. Okay, here's a very interesting one. Do you guys believe Jim really needed to die in the end? Were there no other solutions more viable where everyone could have survived?
I think at the instance, I don't think he could have really developed a plan. Like, he was panicking, and I think if he'd had more time, he might have thought something else. But in that moment where it was either do this or it's over for the kids, for the badass kids, I think there was more options available if he had more time. But in the little time he had, I think that was the only thing he really could do.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it was primarily the time aspect. Like, the fucking monster was on the truck. It was on the truck, and it was like, all right, you have 3 seconds. What are you gonna do? And it's just like, well, do I try and think up a clever plan, or do I do the one thing that I know is gonna make my kids safe? And like I really love the fact that he took those 3 seconds to reassure his daughter before he knew he was never gonna see her again. It's just like, I love you. I have always loved you. Never doubt that ever. And then he died. So I think that was the perfect. I think that was the perfect way for him to go out. Yeah.
It is a powerful scene without question. I was thinking more personally for the stuff just before that, though, when they're on the run back to the farmhouse. Because I know he stops at one point to look at a weapon or to grab a weapon, and that's when he gets got.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, you didn't really need to stop, though. There was nothing right on you at that moment. You guys probably could have gotten a little further without having to worry about running into something.
I don't now. I haven't seen it. I didn't just watch it. I watched it a couple weeks ago. But from my recollection, I don't think he knew there was a monster nearby.
No. I get that much.
So it's just okay, I think we're safe. There's nobody around us. Just in case some shit pops off, I want to have this weapon so that I can do. Oh shit! There it is. Damn. So I don't blame him for that. He was trying to think ahead rather than just run. He was trying to he was trying to think ahead, and I won't fault him for that. And shit, it was just the luck of the draw, man. The thing was just right the fuck there.
Oh no, I'm not faulting him on that one. I just think personally that if I were in his shoes, my thinking would not be stop and grab a weapon. My thinking would be, okay, there's nothing here. We're already ahead. Let's just get to safety, and we'll we'll regather weapons and resources when we know for sure we're safe.
I don't know. I could see the decision. I could see myself making that decision if I was running with my kids and we were a ways away from the farmhouse, but immediately it looked like we were safe. I could spare 3 seconds to see if I can get a weapon. If they were 10 feet from the house and he said, you know what, let me grab a weapon, that would have been stupid. That would have been dumb. I would have been no, get your ass in the house and then we'll deal with that. But where they were at that point in time, it made sense for me.
Yeah, that's fair. I feel like maybe it's just I have a more defensive mindset in mind, and that seems like a more aggressive mindset, and thus I question it. But that's just me.
The best defense is a good offense, Aaron. Come on, B.
All right, this one I think you guys are gonna like. So, what do you guys think of horror or thriller movies like this or Don't Breathe that target the audience on a more personal level by showing the fear of losing sight or hearing against a threat?
Troy, what you got on this one?
I think that it's a different take than what you're normally like. When I was growing up watching horror films, and even through now, I'm used to there's one villain who's chasing someone around throughout the movie. Oh, there goes Michael. Run through here. Don't fall asleep because Freddy Krueger gonna get you. Where these are a little bit different, where it's don't make a noise, which is something you take for granted because you make a noise opening, closing doors, walking, putting cups down, and things like that. Where you're like, dang, could I actually make it? Like in the Freddy movies, you'd be like, I can make it. I just outrun him. Like, I'm not worried about that. But in these movies, like, could I actually be quiet for my whole life? Like, could I actually live for 5 years without being able to make a real noise and survive? I think it's a not a fresh take because people do it a lot, but it's a more of a fresher take than your regular horror genre movies, if that makes sense.
Well, it puts people in the seat of someone who's disabled, who lives with that all the time, as it is. Yes. And it's a very interesting spin on the idea, for sure.
Yes. I enjoyed it. Definitely enjoyed it, being this type of thriller. I consider more of a thriller than a horror, even though those aliens were just so creepy and weird.
Oh, yeah. Ryan, what do you think?
I personally like this more than normal, like, horror or, like, genre films of this nature, because I think that by taking away something so essential to, like, most people's daily life, I think it automatically creates an intense feeling of immersion. Like, where you're sitting there like, well, how would you be, like what would you do if you had to be cognizant of literally every sound you made for fear of your life? Like, automatically, you're more attentive to what you're doing just in your seat and to what the movie itself is doing. I think it speaks to a deeper, more realistic sense of, like, terror that makes for a more immersive viewing experience. So these movies fuck me up most, and I think that's the reason why. And I like it. I really enjoy it.
Absolutely. And I mentioned it in the question, but I highly recommend, if you like this movie based on the loss of sound for the most part throughout the film, like the gimmick being the loss of sound, check out Don't Breathe, because it's a movie that kind of focuses more on the sight aspect. Namely, there's a scene in the movie where they're being chased by a blind guy who's trying to kill them, and he turns off the lights where he has the advantage.
Oh, yeah.
And it's fucking terrifying.
He had that girl in the basement. That was an insane movie.
I loved it. It's very underrated. I think everyone should check it out.
It's crazy.
It's good. Last question before we move on to our next segment. Do you guys want or expect sequels? Assuming we get them, because, I mean, look how much fucking money this movie made. What kind of sequel would you want to see?
I think this is like how I feel about Get Out. I don't really want a sequel. I kind of like it being just a one thing. I mean, I feel like it's a sequel. I'm going to have expectations. I'm going to want certain things. I'm still going to want it to be a fresh take. And a sequel, I just don't feel like it's going to honor what was done for this one. I feel like just one being like this will be fine, and then move on to something different.
Yeah, I agree. I really don't want a sequel for this. What the things that make a good sequel for me are a really, really interesting world that you can explore more of, and an overarching story that needs to be completed. I feel like in A Quiet Place, the concept of the monster was really cool.
Yes.
It was really cool, and they explored that even to its inevitable conclusion of you figure out what the monster's actual weakness is, which is really cool. But I feel like the focal point of the movie is this families' relation with each other, and I think that was explored enough, and to the point where they're all good except for Jim because he's dead. But but like
he's dead, Jim.
He's dead, Jim. But as a family, they're strong. They figured out the way to kill the monsters. The mom is gonna fucking hunt them and just be done with it, so that they don't have to really worry about it anymore. And it's gonna be all. It's the rest of that family story is like a bygone conclusion. I don't need more of that. I think it's perfectly fine to just let it rest where it is.
What's interesting is, you guys bring it up a little bit, but I was listening to a podcast earlier today, in fact, or maybe yesterday, where they talked about the idea of horror movie icons and stuff like that, where they start off as they all represent something at some point. I think it was a Hereditary podcast I was listening to. But they were using Michael Myers as an example, where he actually represented something when he first was put on the scene as a killer. And it was minimal blood, cheap effects, everything. But it was very budget, very well, and it had very good ideas behind it. But if you know anything about the Michael Myers Halloween franchise, you know that very quickly that starts to lose some of the meaning and appeal behind it, because they start making him more ruthless. They start just kind of cheapening the entire affair. They throw a bigger budget at every future installment that comes out to try to make bigger kills, bigger actors, all that stuff. And the meaning behind the first film is kind of lost because it focuses more on the iconography than the actual substance of the first film. So I could see why a sequel to this would not be very good, because you could easily see it just being, more of the monsters, because that's what sold the first movie, when it isn't. That being said, I would not be opposed to more if they left this family completely and focused on different aspects and how this affects the rest of the world. Because that could be interesting. But I don't expect it to happen, because that's not how big Hollywood movies work. So
yeah, I mean, it could be, but honestly, I don't need it. I honestly don't need it. I mean, you took they did so many interesting things in this movie, like the concept of, hey, you can't make any noise, of, hey, you can't make any noise, but this lady's pregnant and is about to have a baby. Oh shit. You have a family with 2 young children. Oh shit. What do you do with that? You have a girl, the oldest girl is deaf. What the fuck do you do with that? Oh shit. Yeah. I feel like they had so many interesting hooks in this scenario that they don't need anymore. It was great. You don't I don't know of anything else, anything interesting you can hook onto this setting to make me want another movie of it. And without that, all I would be doing is just comparing it to the original.
A fun fact for you, Ryan. Did you know that they were actually approached during the production of this film to tie it into the Cloverfield franchise?
Oh, wow.
It didn't happen, but they were approached for it, and that would have been interesting. Not good, but interesting.
That might have been interesting. Yeah, no, that might have been interesting.
Yeah, that would have put a different spin on it.
Absolutely. So that's all I got for discussion questions. Is there anything else you guys wanted to add to it, or should we move on to our trivia segment this week?
Boy.
No, I think discussed it all.
Alrighty. So if you guys are still in the Google Doc, I would ask you guys to scroll to the top, because I don't want you to see the answers here. So what we have this week is another one of those fun trivia games where I give you guys a year, and you've got to guess the highest grossing horror film of that year.
Oh, boy.
Fun.
Ryan, did you win, or was it Nicole that won last time?
It was absolutely Nicole who won.
Okay. Well, no, it was tough. I think it was like a 2-1 win, so it was a low-scoring game.
Yeah, so I was 1 year off the last question. It made me so sad.
But here we go. So, 2009. What is the highest grossing film of 2009?
What came out 2009?
I'm glad you asked. I'm going to bring up Box Office Mojo, and I'll give you some context real quick.
2009.
Well, we were both just out of high school?
Oh, yeah, we were. Saw that Grandview.
Let's see. Best box office yearly, 2009. Okay, so for context, the top 3 movies of the year that are not including this one: Avatar, Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, and Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince.
Oh my goodness.
I have a couple hints I could drop for you if you guys really need them.
Drop one
I
hint.
will never
Yeah.
turn down a hint.
Drop one hint,
All
please.
right. The total grossing for the first for this movie is 107,859,000. I know it's not a lot of a clue, but here's another clue for you. This franchise took the number 1 spot in 2010, 2011, and in 2012.
2009.
This might be too big a hint, but we'll see how this goes.
I'm gonna guess Saw.
So it's a very good guess. Troy, what do you want to throw in the mix here?
I don't have a single guess. Wow. I want to say Dawn of the... No, that came out way before 2009. The Dead series. Yeah, I don't have one. I don't have a guess.
All right. The answer may shock you. Is the Paranormal Activity franchise.
Oh,
What the
that came out
fuck?
2009?
2009.
Wow.
And they got the top spot of horror movies 4 years running.
Wow.
God damn. Okay.
Impressive, no?
That was.
Very impressive. Oh shit.
That was good.
Let me just double check my source here to make sure, but I do believe... Yep, okay. So next one. 1996.
So I was a fresh 6 years old.
And for context, let's give you guys your top 3. Independence Day, Twister, and the first Mission Impossible.
Oh my god, the first Mission Impossible.
It's
Tom
that
Cruise as a babby. Oh shit.
what was that one movie called? Had Morgan Freeman. I think came out that same time. 7? Is that it?
I think I know what you're talking about. So that's your guess. Ryan, what do you have?
Fuck. Ooh, 7's a really good guess too. Oh, god damn it. Shit. 1996. Come on.
Mission Impossible.
I'll give you a quick hint, Ryan. It is number 13 on the top grossing movies of that year. I know it's not very helpful, but it's a clue.
God, I am horrible at this game.
Hey, you're in the lead. You're not doing that horrible.
You are.
Oh, wait, no, you didn't get the last one.
No, I didn't get the last one.
He's not losing.
No,
though. He's not losing though.
no one's losing, really.
Can you give one more hint?
Man, I'm trying to think of what else I can give you here. It made $103 million in the box office, which isn't super helpful. It is the first in a franchise that I don't believe it's still going right now, but I know they had a installment not too long ago. But it's not something.
Installment movies. Let's think.
Oh well, that took out my guess. I was gonna.
Yeah, seven's dead. 7 is installment movies that came out when I was a kid. Not scary movie. Scream.
I got Scream. Ryan?
Scream was one of those stupid movies, or the Scream movie.
I think Scream came out like near 99. I'd say. But I'm gonna go with. Fuck me. I'm gonna go with. Fuck! It's entirely wrong. It's not. Here's the thing. My most of my experience with horror movies are all like from the 80s. Like,
Oh, that's gonna be our next decade. Don't worry about it.
the
God damn it.
80s. Wow. Oh man.
fuck me. Shit. I'm just gonna. was 6 years old. What the fuck came out? I don't remember. I was 6 years old.
I agree.
This is entirely wrong, but I'm gonna guess one of the Child's Play movies.
And the point goes to Troy. It is Scream.
Nice.
I just remember The Mask when I was a
Nicely
kid.
done.
That's all I remember is
Very
The
good.
Mask.
Very good. Okay, next one here, because you're not out of the woods yet. We can see if Ryan can catch up with you.
You might. 80s. I'm definitely going to say.
1980. 1980.
Friday the 13th.
Okay, Friday the 13th in one corner. What do you got over there, Troy?
I feel like there were so many movies that came out there and then.
There were, man. The 80s were like the 80s were like quintessential horror of the time.
1980. Is what's that old dude's name? Hey Johnny.
I know a lot of old dudes. You talking about the Jack Nicholson movie?
Yes.
What's that one old dude? Jack Nicholson? Yeah, that one.
The Shining. The Shining. That's it. The Shining.
All right. The final answer?
Yes. That's it.
All right. The winner of this round. All right, I have one more to go. So the point for this one goes to Troy as well.
Damn, Troy, you are killing it.
The Shining's a popular movie. I've watched that a few times.
I love The Shining. For
killing it.
record-keeping purposes, The Shining made $44 million.
44
Friday the 13th, $39 million. It was a very close call.
Oh, are you
Wow. Wow, he was close.
Damn it.
Wow.
We're gonna jump forward 1 year to 1979. What is the top-grossing horror movie of 1979?
I don't even know what movies. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna try to look it up real quick because this site only goes back to 1980. So give me one moment here. 1979.
79. Is that when Alien came out?
Give me a moment.
I'm gonna go with that. That's a horror movie. I feel like that's a 7. Or no, that's an 80s movie. Alien?
I don't know, Ryan, am I allowed to tell him what movies did come out that year if he asks?
I think so.
Okay. Alien did indeed come out that year.
I'm gonna go with Alien. Oh,
all right. Ryan, what do you got to top that?
You said 79?
Indeed. Man, Kramer versus Kramer, Rocky 2, Star Trek, the motion picture. Moonraker came out this year.
I'm gonna go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Ooh. I thought that was 80s.
I think the first one came out in the late 70s. I think.
Well, okay,
I'm really
so
bad at this game.
let me tell you. Neither of you got it, but Troy it got the higher ranking of the two of the ones you picked.
Oh, is that Alien?
The highest grossing movie of 1979, and you're gonna kick yourself, Ryan, for not guessing this. Amityville Horror.
Wow.
Really?
Yep. Amityville made $86,432,000. Alien at $80,931,000.
Damn, Alien?
Nicely done.
So Troy is our second winner for the top grossing box office movies for horror movies. Good work, man.
Congratulations, sir.
Those were some hard lists.
I don't make these easy, and this is honestly a lot of fun to mess around with.
Here's the thing. I've seen a fair amount of movies, but I don't keep track of what year they came out. So I am just bad at this game.
I definitely thought he was going to do something recent. Like I was about to say, 'cause I know IT just broke a record. I thought he was going to
If
throw
I
that
did
out
that,
there.
that would be too easy.
I was like, I thought maybe he's going to throw that out. I was like, oh, that's going to be an easy point for me. And he came up with some other stuff. And I'm like, man.
Now, I can't make it that easy. Otherwise, then there'd be no challenge.
That was the challenge. I do agree.
So before we get to our final section where we rank the movie, again, a reminder for everybody to go to our Patreon page, as well as Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, and our email if you want to contact us, tell us your favorite horror movies, or want to talk to us about any kind of movies in our upcoming schedule. Ryan, what is that email?
That is joking. Ryan can't guess trivia for shit at gmail. I mean, that is evacstation at gmail.com.
That sounds like it might be it. So guys, let's go ahead and rank the movie. Now, Ryan, we did a unique little one for last week when Nicole was on. Do we want to keep that going for the horror movies, or do we want to do our usual classics bit?
Yeah, no, I think I like the I like the simplistic fun one that we came up with the last time.
All right, so we'll expect to Troy then, because I don't know if he hasn't seen that episode yet. It hasn't come out. So Troy, we have a new ranking system specifically for the horror movies called Bucket or Fuck It.
Bucket or fuck it. Okay.
Namely, either we put it in the good blood-covered bucket for all of our good horror movies, or we fuck it and get it out of here. Get rid of that movie. I assume we're all on the same page with this one. This is definitely going to be a bucket for me.
Yeah, a bucket for me.
Nah, I say fuck it. No, I'm just joking. No, this is a fantastic movie, so it's definitely going in the blood bucket.
Yep, in that blood bucket it goes, all sloshy and covered in giblets.
Oof.
Oof. So yeah, definitely recommend this movie. If you guys have not seen it yet, be sure to check it out. It is available on DVD right now if you want to rent it. I think you can stream it on a couple different platforms. I don't think it's on Netflix yet, but give it another, 2-3 months, you think?
Yeah, something about that. That sounds about right.
Yeah. It's not a Disney movie, so clearly it's not going to be stuck on the Disney platform yet, so we're good there. So yeah, that's all for this episode of the Terror Time. Thank you for joining us, and next time you hear us, you'll be listening to, and I keep closing the schedule page for no goddamn reason, next out should be Get Out!
Aw, shit!
We got a guest for that one, too, actually. He's all ready to go for that one.
I love it.
So we'll see you after the credits.
And the monsters grunt and groan, rotting faces full of slime. Don't you know it's terror time?